Hi, this is Zachary McClellan, and I'm doing my Humanities Engagement. So for this week, I wanted to go a little old school with the kind of television and with the cinema, because I feel that there's a movie that's kind of based off a book that I believe everyone has read in their life, which is good, and I think everyone should read it again, and that's To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And I feel, the book was written in the 1960s, although the movie was a little later. But it was still kind of put in the heart of the civil rights movement, and especially Harper Lee. She was born in Monroeville, Alabama, so that's the Deep South. That's where this was happening on an everyday basis, and I believe that she saw what was wrong, and she felt like through this art, through this medium, through the book, and through literature, and eventually a movie, that she could display something and tell a story that words couldn't get past. She was able to tell a story that she saw. And although it's not a direct autobiography, there are claims that she saw this in her life, and this is kind of based on true events of her life. So a little bit about the plot of the movie. They grow up in Macomb County, which is another place in Alabama, and it's a girl named Scout and her brother Jim. Basically, they're in a really small town, and their father named Atticus. He's kind of the unsung protagonist in in the book that turned the movie. So Atticus is a lawyer who winds up defending a young man by the name of Tom Robinson, who is a black man. And then Bob Ewell and his daughter kind of frame him for rape, even though this guy's the town drunk, and they've proven that he can't be reliable in court or out of court for that matter. And then he's even beaten his daughter, the same one who he is using to accuse Tom Robinson of rape, for his sexual advances against Tom. So, his whole story is thrown out of the picture, and Atticus actually defends this in court. But we kind of see the justice system go wrong, as it did a lot of times in the 1960s. And they still put Tom Robinson behind bars and later shot him for escaping from prison, or what we can define as an escape. But all throughout this, Tom is defended by Atticus, who, against the town's wishes, defends him to the best of his abilities. I think that's part of taking up our cross as Christians. I think that's part of, defending our brothers and sisters in Christ, no matter what the world thinks. It said that the world might hate us. The world is going to lash out against us, but in God we know we're one, and in God we know we're true. So I thought that was a good piece to kind of relate. And I also think, in today's day, we're having a lot of social and cultural revolutions, not just social rights, but everything, feministic rights, black rights. And then I thought this was a great thing because it's still somewhat relevant today, not to the same degree, but I still think that some in society have an easier go of it than others. And I'm not going to play names, and I'm not going to start that because that's a whole different conversation. But it kind of brought a point to a time when there was this in a mass effect, and I think that we can very well see that now. And I think that that's very significant in what we need in order to see this and go past this. In modern day, I don't think we have anything like this. Because this is seen from a little girl. This is seen from her perspective. So there's a sort of innocence to it that she doesn't know about Atticus, and she doesn't know about Boo Radley, and eventually Bob Ewell coming back to attack Atticus's kids, which Boo Radley ends up killing him. It's a crazy plot twist. One of the best parts of the book, in the movie. But I thought that would be a great example of this week, because it's really inspirational. I think that for a lot of African Americans for the time, or people of color, I think that was a glimmer of hope that white people in the South are on their side. And I think for a lot of white folk, it was kind of eye-opening. It was like, this is happening. This isn't just a book. This isn't just like a fairy tale. It doesn't start with once upon a time. It has a setting in America's day and age. And so I think that kind of opened people's eyes, and we see, once the 1960s happened, we see this big flood of social rights, and rights for people of color, rights for women. And so one of the questions, I chose option 8, which is commemorative art. And one of the questions was, does it work to recover marginalized voices? And I think it does. I think there's a lot of people that were trying to say this at the time, but they just couldn't. And now we have a white woman through the lens of a 6-year-old girl who is able to tell a story, and through the story, change the lives and the minds of millions of people. So that's what I chose, and I will include my citation in APA format in the comment section. Thank you.